right, everybody. This is the former President Barack Obama, and this is Crossing Swords.
Fake news.
We're all fighting the fake news. Trust me, I know. It's going to be the best, amazing, the best podcast ever.
He said that.
He did.
Yeah, and he's right.
Yeah, and he's coming on soon, surely. I mean, we're right up there.
Yeah. I mean, going to be a bit tight doing it from, trying to get that Wi-Fi signal in jail. But I think we can get him on. I think
we'll squeeze him in between now and...
Yeah, I think he'll come on between, sewing mailbags and lunch.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Imagine being in a situation, by the way, where your potential next president, because as it stands, the polling says he will be the next president, could be that from jail. Do you know what I mean?
Right, it would be good.
And he's still technically allowed to be president, apparently.
Yeah. No, there's nothing in the Constitution against it.
No, which is quite odd.
It's just more worrying that people would vote for it. Like, dude's in prison, and half the mentality is it's a con. They just want to keep him out of office. It's I don't think that's the con, but we'll go with it.
Yeah. Well, it was a rigged election.
Absolutely.
He was... he rightfully incited violence. Do you know what I mean?
Had to.
Yeah.
America was under attack.
Yeah.
Democracy was under attack.
And, if anything, he was protecting the Mexicans. Do you know what I mean?
Forget Putin in Ukraine. It was Sleepy Joe in America.
Yeah.
That's the enemy.
He's causing the problems. I mean, that is equally embarrassing, having a president that can't climb a flight of stairs. Do you know what I mean?
Well, do you know what? Nor can Daleks, but you'd be shit scared of them. And that's not true. Actually, Daleks can fly now.
Can they?
Yeah. But back in the day...
They could only just wheel around
They just wheel around.
And all they had was a toilet plunger.
Yeah. But you'd still be terrified of them.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dalek, of course
I've never looked at a Dalek and thought, shit, I'm in trouble. I just thought I've just got to walk slightly faster than normal to get away.
You've never looked at a Dalek?
What, dead in the eye?
Dead in the stalk, yeah.
I did in
Comic-Con.
Yeah. Right into its soul. Saw it was empty.
I don't believe you. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look at me the same way you looked at it. Look at me the same way you looked at the Dalek. And you stared down the Dalek. You gave it some attitude. You gave the Dalek a bit of stank.
I gave it the rock.
I'll be honest, at this point, I don't know what stank is, and I'm too afraid to ask.
Stank is when you're a man of my size wearing a G-string all day and then you take it off. That's some stank right
When
there.
are you going to pose that to me, by the way? Because I gave you the money for that.
My prices went up and someone outbid you.
Oh, that's how it works, is it? It's no longer a buy and get policy.
Look, when the Saudis are throwing money around, bro.
I can't compete with Saudi money for your used G-strings.
As the Premier League's finding out, no one can compete with the Saudi money.
God damn it, they're moving into everything.
Yeah, everything from OnlyFans to Premier League football. Which is odd, you wouldn't have thought they'd be on board with the sort of content I'm putting out there, but apparently they are, so.
It's more just, buy what you can and see what sticks.
Yeah, it feels that way. There might be some hits and misses there. My venture might not take it off the ground.
But you've made your money, who cares?
But exactly, I've made the bag. So.
Yeah. You've bagged the G's.
And it's just, what would you call that? It's not sports washing, it's porn washing.
Yeah.
Do we like that as a phrase? They're porn washing?
Yeah, sex washing.
Yeah.
Which is actually a thing you can do.
You should really. It's a gentlemanly thing to do.
It is. I mean, if you're not hygienic, bro.
No.
It's not respectful.
What world are you living in?
You'll respect your partner.
Yeah. No, I think it's very courteous that if you know things are about to occur with a lady.
Give a little.
Whether it's a one-night stand or a regular lover, I think there should be at least a cursory wipe down there. I personally have a gentleman's wash in the sink.
Yep, and I like a little spray or something.
Really? No, I don't go that far.
Not under the clothes. That's insane. If you're putting cologne on your ball sack, you're going to learn a very harsh lesson very quickly.
You're putting it on the boxes.
It's a little spray, little spritz.
Wasn't that the Jay Cartwright thing in between? Yeah,
but you never know.
2 on the chin, 2 on the chest, 2 on the crotch.
You want her to get down there and think, that's a nice little pleasant smell.
Rather than what she might smell otherwise.
Rather than what it could be.
But what about if you haven't washed enough down there, they pull off the boxes and they get a nasty surprise? Do you know what I mean? Like the wafting is just too much.
I can only deal with one problem at a time.
And
she might walk away, but I think she was down there.
Yeah.
And, take the win.
I still enjoyed myself.
I still got off.
Yeah.
I was still able to finish.
And she did it because of the implication.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, if she said no.
And as I said to you in our text exchange yesterday, the implication is always...
It's always there.
Yeah.
Obviously, no is no. We respect that.
Yeah.
But no one's going to say no is the point.
No.
Because the implication. Yeah.
So for once, guys, and I say for once because I like to be horrible to Jake as I'm nice to him.
I don't think that comes across. I think you've hidden it well over the years.
Did you bring the materials?
I brought the materials.
Did you like how I reminded you to bring the materials?
In several languages.
Yes.
Some of which I understood. I mean, I got all of them.
Well, to be honest, every single
context.
one of them had one version of it was materiale most of the time in every other language, whether it was German, French, Italian, or Spanish,
now,
which were the 4 languages I chose.
Before I share with you the document with which I bring to today's table, I have to ask you a few questions.
Please do.
Number 1, are you ready?
I'm not sure. I'm filled with
That's
trepidation.
not good enough.
And
Number
excitement.
1, are you ready? This is like me.
Yeah.
This is like a porn site asking if you're 18 or over. No one ever says no. You say yes.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, number 2. This is a bit more, this isn't so much of a closed question. How do you like your truth?
I like it how I like my dick in the morning. Hard.
And would you say you like your truth censored or uncensored?
I prefer it uncensored.
Then you are going to love this, my man.
I'm frightened.
This is the light, presumably because you see the light.
Right.
The uncensored truth.
Okay.
There it is, black and white. Well, black, brown and black. Now, I don't necessarily
For
want
the
to give
audio
you...
listener, Jake is currently holding up what appears to be a newspaper that has the words "The Light" written on the front and a headline, "The media or media always lies."
Yeah, you know you're in for a good one. Now, can I just say, this looks like quite a professional outfit.
Yeah.
But it's... And I haven't read all of it.
Okay.
I haven't read any of it. I've read one part, and I genuinely think it's brilliant. So I'm going to share this with you. It's a full-page middle spread, or a full-page spread.
In the middle of the paper.
In the middle of the paper.
Which Jake is currently trying to locate.
And I can honestly tell you it's one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Now, do you consider yourself to be alert and aware, or do you think you're a sheep? Do you think you're one of the masses?
I think I have aspects of both.
Well, I think
out of the two of us, I'd say I'm more open because I'm into conspiracy stuff.
I haven't read any. I'm going to hand you this.
Okay.
And I just want you to, because we're on a podcast,
read out.
Well, you can read it out, just your thoughts as you're going through it. If you want to read some out, read them out. If you just want to tell us what you're thinking as you read through them, okay, now, I read through maybe like 4 or 5 of these.
Okay.
They're brilliant. So, here to you. Take that, my man. Okay. And react.
Right.
Tell the people what you're seeing.
What they really mean. It's a list of... Right, so newspeak...
I should have made sure you had
glasses.
So is it
really. When they're saying one of these phrases?
Yes, this is what if the mainstream media uses these, or if anyone uses these.
Right. So if it's an anonymous source, we made it up.
Yeah.
If it's anti-Semitic, you're not allowed to say bankers run the world.
It's so
Anti-vaxxer, person who probably wasn't an anti-vaxxer before COVID. Anti-vaxxers, those who want to make an informed choice about what goes into their bodies. Artificial intelligence, a chatty Google. Baffled, knows full well. BBC, Ministry of Truth. Breaking news, alternative news has been reporting on this for 3 years. Broke lockdown rules, lockdown save lives, you must continue believing that. Caused real world harm, targeted by the state for censorship. CBDC, programmable, monitorable money. CBDC, changing banking to digital control. Climate change, the weather. Climate change denier knows that CO2 doesn't affect temperatures. Climate emergency, you should be afraid of the weather. Collateral damage, dead civilians. Conspiracy theory, any alternative explanation, often involving the basic evidence that deviates away from what is presented by the media.
No, I'm going to stop you there because that was one of the ones I read, the 2 conspiracy theorist ones. I think they're brilliant. Now, before you read the other one, what are your thoughts on this so far, this list?
I mean, some of it's quite funny. The conspiracy theorist one, though, I don't...
It's someone who's been called a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And is very much fighting that claim. Wearing it like a badge of honour, trying to reclaim the word or the term.
The thing is, though, what I would say, and this is going to go off on a tangent for a second, and this is brilliant, by the way, the fact it's called The Light as well.
It's good, because you've seen the light.
They're shedding light.
Yeah, they're shedding light on it. It's good. I'll give you the context of how I got that as well. That's equally good.
Did someone hand it to you?
Yeah, sort of, but it's Anyway, tangent, my man.
Like the conspiracy theorist thing is interesting because the phrase itself was coined by I think it was the FBI or the CIA post 9/11, and it was used as a way to discredit alternative theories about something that might have happened. So it was something that was coined by the intelligence agencies. But there is a lot of stuff out there, like Russell Brand's starting to get a lot of credit now about some of the stuff he's shedding light on, and there's a lot of evidence about, and it's one of the things I've said to you, and I said to you and Lil when we had Lil on, that I think we're still not ready to have an honest conversation about COVID and what went on there, and there's more and more evidence coming out now. Look, I'm not on the side of the vaccines responsible for every celebrity death that's been going on or anything like that.
I just like to, because I didn't necessarily believe something you said, by the way. Conspiracy theory as a term has been around a lot longer than 9/11.
Has it? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because people, even back in like the JFK assassination, people were like coming up with that was an inside job.
Okay, fair enough.
Like
I might have got my date wrong,
tin,
but I did hear it was coined
does
by
what it says on the tin.
Intelligence agency.
If you believe that someone has conspired or a group of people have conspired.
How likely do you think conspiracies are, though? Do you think they never occur? Do you think they do occur?
Oh, 100% they occur, but I don't think they occur to the extent of which most theories coin.
Do you think Big Pharma, for example,
100%. I don't. Like I said, I don't think that they've like got the cure for cancer kind of thing, or that they're trying.
No, but I do believe that. Do you think they actually act within the interests of the wider society?
They act in a capitalist world. They act within the interest of profit, same as every company does.
So should we trust them implicitly?
No, we shouldn't trust them implicitly.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, because of the way the healthcare system's set up, we have very little choice but to not necessarily trust them, but take what we're given by them.
To a degree, I think. What frightens me is that we don't have honest conversations about anything in the West in general, and particularly in our country.
Like, what's an honest conversation you'd like to have?
Well, for example, I don't think, like around COVID, I think all the evidence post-COVID, looking back, shows that we handled it in completely the wrong way. Lockdowns were completely wrong. The vaccines were more or less ineffective. They were effective for periods, but didn't stop transmission, didn't do any of the... And the evidence is proving that they knew that wasn't going to work at the time.
I mean, if that's what you say, I've not seen that evidence.
Yeah.
Where's that evidence come from? I'm putting you on the spot.
No, there's doctors like John Campbell. He's a accredited doctor that works in this country that pre-COVID was very much...
I said the reason I was smiling, by the way, is just because I know exactly why you said it.
Yeah.
But because of the context of what we're talking about. But it's like in any other setting, if you started by saying someone was a doctor by telling you that they were a creditable doctor,
what I mean
you
by
immediately
that is
think
that he's a doctor.
What you immediately think
studied
is
for years and years. Like
there's
any
someone
other
who's
doctor.
not creditable.
Oh, fair enough.
No.
There's no point
I said no. I said in the context of this, I know why you said it.
Yeah.
And I get that, but I said
what I mean by a
credible
doctor is that he's someone who prior to changing his opinions was considered a perfectly responsible doctor.
Outside of this context, if you were just talking about it and someone was talking about a doctor and they said, "Oh, he's a credible doctor," you'd immediately go, "Why are you adding that? Are there doubts over it?"
Well, I would say there are,
but
because
anyway,
of his
sorry.
opinion. But there's things like there has been excess deaths in the last couple of years, for example, and the government is basically refusing and look into why we've had excess deaths. Their current explanation is it's just a rise in respiratory and heart disease, but their own numbers don't support that. There hasn't been a rise in respiratory or heart diseases.
So where are the deaths coming from?
We don't know.
So what? I mean, I'm not...
And like Dr. John Campbell, in none of his videos, say it's vaccine related, but he's saying it should be investigated as to why.
So is he suggesting that there's a link between the vaccines and these deaths?
There could be, but we're not even looking into it.
How do we know we're not looking into it?
Because the government's not talking about it. There's no figures being released on it. They've refused twice to debate it in Parliament.
I would argue that we couldn't judge anything by what the government aren't talking about, because that's most things.
No.
They're talking about boats, small boats.
But for me,
and
personally,
gender-neutral toilets.
look, I don't know whether
anything.
it's the vaccines or not, and I'm not even claiming it is the vaccine.
I'm just trying to play...
No, that's fine. But at the same time, the point
you
I'm
know what
trying
that
to
meant.
make... Yes. The point I'm trying to make is that, in general, if the general movement towards something is we want to do this, if it turned out to be a huge mistake, we're not going to release that information. If the vaccine has caused harm to people, which, considering from what I've listened to, and again, I didn't expect to have this conversation, so I've not come prepped for it. But I've listened to stuff about the numbers of deaths since vaccination and things like that. Like there is a correlation. And now it could be just something in that triggered something in those people. It might not be the vaccination. It might be a comorbidity they had beforehand, and we didn't know the effect it had on that.
I think...
But what worries me is that you can't talk about that without being accused of being a conspiracy theorist or being shut down. Or that genuinely happens. Like, it's one of the reasons why Russell Brand had to move to Rumble.
If we're being completely honest...
And yet more and more evidence is coming out that people high up on the food chain in England and the UK were fully aware of the fact the things they were doing weren't going to be effective.
Like I said, if I'm being completely honest, and I think it's important for it's not important for the pod.
This is just
for
me and you
the
talking.
For the values that we hold true.
Yes, it
is important that my mind first went to it. I don't trust the sources that you're listening to.
Well, it's the government's data that they're showing.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's someone's interpretation of the government data and what it sounds like, and I could be wrong.
Well,
and it
to
might
be honest, the graphs they show, for me, even I can see that the trend is down or it's straight. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to be an expert to go, all right, well, the graph's not is pointing up after this.
But it might be a misinformation here. It might be a cross swords habit. It might be a crossed wires thing.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me like it's more coming from, or as much coming from, what's not being shown and what's not being said or looked at.
No, because when I watched that video from Dr. John Campbell, he said, and he showed the evidence that since COVID, respiratory disease and heart disease haven't increased like the government said it is. I then decided to go and Google what has been the cause of excess deaths in the last year. And the first thing that came up was a page on the government page that said the explanation was an increase in respiratory disease, and it had the graphs and stuff and the full report that he was going through on the YouTube video.
No, fair enough.
So he was doing it from the government's own numbers.
But I don't think this is, to me, this is not news that the government are lying about anything they've done.
No, but the problem is we can't talk about it.
Because you're worried, because you'll get shot down as a conspiracy
Well, you
theorist.
will. If we were a big channel, for example, and we had the conversation we had just now, at least, the very least, that video would either be removed or demonetised.
Is that what happens to...
That's exactly what happens.
Because of the risk of spreading fake information or something.
Yeah, because they will say that's not what what the government is saying in your country. Because that is not what your government says on their website, despite that's not what the evidence shows.
Well, that's interesting. That's quite a worrying...
And it's why a lot of people are moving over to places like Rumble and things like that.
What's Rumble?
It's
you said Rumble earlier, and honestly, I thought it was like a town in Norfolk.
No, it's basically it's YouTube, but uncensored essentially. So you'll find anything from the far right to a Russell Brand on there.
I'm glad I cleared that up. Like I said, I thought it was like some East Anglian little town village.
Russell Brand went over there because during COVID he was being threatened with having his account shut down because of the things he was talking about around vaccines and whether they were effective or not. Like, for example, at the time, he got a strike and warned because he said they didn't stop transmission. And so
no, but that's not... That's science. That's how vaccines work. They don't stop transmission.
Well, no, but like some vaccines do stop transmission between people, don't they? Or they give you immunity.
It's not as much as giving you immunity. It's the whole point of a vaccine is... it introduces a very small amount of the thing, whatever it is, into your body to allow your immune system to learn it so that when it comes in properly, in full, your immune system already has the data it needs to deal with it quick, in a more quick and efficient way, rather than being overwhelmed by going, what the fuck's this? How do we get rid of it?
Right.
That small legion that's been in you earlier. And that's why things like flu vaccines are not always as effective because the flu evolves every year.
No, but
so you've only been given last year's version. So your body only knows how to deal with last year's flu. The new one comes in and you don't know how to deal with it.
When we're getting vaccines, though.
But I don't think that's...
You're the first person I've ever met that said no vaccine stops transmission. That is not what you're told.
No, that's not how they... But I would say that information, I've never been told contrary. I've never been told anywhere.
But then, so what I'm going to say to you
spreading.
is then, why would YouTube take down people's videos or close channels because they're saying that
how do we
vaccine doesn't
know?
Stop transmission? Because they tell them that's why they've done it.
But who's telling us that that's what they've been said?
Well, the person that's been taken down. Well, they quite often show the emails or...
If they've shown the emails, fair enough. I'll go with that. But
no, but why else? No, but if their channel has been taken down or the video was up and then got taken down, why would they lie about it?
It's a bit like Farage saying why his account was closed. It's like, okay, but who's telling us that? You are.
That's a very easy way to put someone in. Farage,
but I think it's very
automatically assume they're as dodgy as Farage.
Not necessarily dodgy, but I think especially if you're trying to build a brand or whatever, it's quite.
I don't know.
Not easy, but to kind of go against the mainstream and go, they're trying to silence me, kind of thing. It's quite a popular way to get the alternative viewers to take you in, because they're like, oh yeah, they do that.
Some people, but I don't think you can assume that's the case for everyone.
No, I don't think that's the case for everyone.
And there's too many people saying it for it to be just a case of everyone's lying. And after when we saw that Twitter just did what it liked before Elon took over, and you can argue what Elon was doing, but people were getting their accounts blocked on Twitter just on Twitter's own guess at the time of who should and shouldn't.
But what I would say, just going back to the actual point about vaccines, I've never heard anywhere someone tell me that vaccines stop the spread.
Then why during COVID was it such a big conversation as to why this vaccine would or wouldn't stop transmission?
I was not aware of that conversation taking place.
I feel like it was constant.
And for me, like I said, that information about what a vaccine is and how it works, that was being fed to me at GCSE biology. That was kind of...
Yeah, but I remember being told in school that vaccines stop transmission.
We've gone to very different schools. I've never had that information handed to me.
Fair enough. Well, I don't understand why it would even be a conversation then if what you're saying is...
And yeah, why that's not how a vaccine works.
Right, fair enough. Well, that's not what I've been told.
That's interesting. Yeah. That is interesting because, like I said, I've never ever even been.
Well, because then I don't understand why it was even a conversation. Why it was a big it was constantly in the news that this vaccine didn't stop transmission, and there was a question being asked: is it going to stop transmission or not? Why was that happening?
Yeah, no, I can't say that because I pretty much switched off the news from.
Fair
I
enough.
was just fed up of seeing the same thing every day. So, but the whole thing kicked off in March, and by about May, June, I was like, "Fuck this! I can't do this every day."
Yeah,
and just kind of shut it all off. So if it was happening,
fair enough.
Aware of it. But
fair enough then. We'll just have to agree to disagree.
I can't remember what I was.
We were talking about the light.
The light, yes, and the conspiracy. So the context of this, and this is what I found quite amusing. This was handed to me there was some traffic.
Yeah.
But just stop ULEZ protesters, and someone came along handing out.
I like the fact they were handing that out.
Well, this is the thing. It was just a woman handing these out. I would hazard a guess that a lot of those Stop the ULEZ protesters that were there had no idea that that's what they were associating themselves with.
No, probably not.
Someone said, do you want to come and protest Stop ULEZ? And they heard, do you want to come and protest Stop ULEZ? They went, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They had no idea that they were fighting the mainstream media. They had no idea that they were going up. Yeah. They had no idea that they were promoting the light or the uncensored truth.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love the idea that there's a dozen people that are now
spreading a different form of propaganda.
Linked to this.
Yeah.
That all they wanted to do was stop people charging us £12.50 a day to use our cars. Yeah. That's all they wanted to do. And now they've been tied up with this.
Yeah.
If I may just go through a few more.
Please do.
Because they're so good. They're so good. You tell me. In fact, I'm going to say left or right.
Left or right? Right.
Okay. Top half or bottom half?
Bottom.
Okay. Let's have a little look. So we must stay vigilant. Make sure you're paranoid. You can trust us to only report one side of events. Now, I'm quite upset they don't have woke on here, and that would have been quite nice.
Yeah.
I feel like it fits. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. What do you think they mean, the mainstream media, when they talk about spreading hate?
Yeah.
What do you think people who are accused of spreading hate are really doing?
Telling the truth.
Ding, ding, ding. 10 points to Gryffindor. Spread hate means speak the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. This is absolutely misinformation, disinformation, truth, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Journalist, establishment mouthpiece. I'm not going to disagree with that one.
No, it's fairly fair.
International bankers.
In some cases, I'd
puppet
like to
masters.
think there's actually some good journalists out there.
I'll be honest as well, when you read it to me, I didn't realise how anti-Semitic it was. So when you did the whole thing about like the Jewish and the bankers and stuff,
Yeah.
came as a shock. Did come as a shock. Yeah, I was expecting a little bit of conspiracy stuff. I wasn't expecting the full Jewish bankers run the world thing.
Yeah.
That came as a bit of a thing. Yes, the science is settled. The bribe was paid. Sustainability. The soil and the trees are going to have more rights than you.
Yeah.
Not sure that's entirely true, but...
No, we just don't want to kill all of them.
I'm not sure a lot of this is true. Do you know what happens if you need more education?
What's that?
You need more propaganda. 5G, radioactive tracking system. Where's one I saw? Was it COVID vaccine? Yeah, COVID-19, flu. COVID vaccine, biological military weapon. Denier, someone not falling for our BS. It's quite extremely rare, quite common. Extremist, opponent. Yes, they're very good.
Yeah.
They are widely accepted. You must believe what we're saying.
If you go to the extremes of either side, whether it's the left or the right, they tend to be quite sensitive, don't they?
Very.
Very. Yeah.
I would say, and I know it's really preaching and whatever of me on the left to say this, because they're absolutely, you go far enough on the left, there's sensitivity.
Yeah.
I would argue you don't have to go as far on the right to find that sensitivity.
No.
But you do still have to go a bit in. The centrists aren't as bad.
I think, but the most delicate tend to be on the extremes of either side, that just can't deal with any opposition to their ideals.
God, yeah. I mean, my favourite one is always the free speech brigade. That really what they mean is don't curtail my speech. But as soon as someone else expresses free speech against them, they're either against it or they're quiet.
Yeah, and it's like James O'Brien's had loads of people on and made a big success of himself just making people like that look like a tit by asking them what they mean by political correctness.
Yeah. What is it you want to say?
Yeah, what is it they're stopping you saying that you'd like to be able to say? And it's like, nothing. It's like, well, so if it's nothing, then what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And they either do that and go, well, yeah, nothing, you don't understand.
You can't make pejoratives.
Or they come out with something, they come out with something racist.
Racial slurs. Yeah.
And they're like,
well, I don't like black people, innit? And he's like, right, so we've got to it now.
Yeah, there's so many of them around, isn't there, in my neighbourhood and that. I've listened to some of their calls and they're like, there's just loads of them around, aren't there? And you're like, and what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, why is it bad to have them around? Yeah. Well, it's just, you see them everywhere. You go, don't you? Yes, you see them everywhere. But what are they doing that's bad?
It makes people uncomfortable. That's what it is. I've said it to you on the pod before. I think I've ranted about it previously. It was like, it just makes
I'm trying, I don't know whether you've noticed, but ever since reading James O'Brien's book, the first one.
Okay, How Not to Be Wrong.
Yeah, that one.
And I think the other one, I think the first one was like How to Be Right. And I think his new one is about how to realise you're wrong or something like that.
But it was really eye-opening because I've heard him do it on the radio and stuff and in the clips I've seen, so I get it. And I've heard other similarly successful broadcasters doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, if someone says something you disagree with, if someone says something on the other side of the argument, just ask them and keep asking them.
To explain what it is they're saying.
The thing is, they'll either say something really bright and intelligent and articulate and you'll go, do you know what, yeah, that's maybe go away and think. Or they'll dig their own grave.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do it a bit more now. I'm trying to just, rather than go, because my instinct is if someone says something that I disagree with, like on migration or something, my instinct is to go, no, but look at this.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to hold back and just go, but what is it that's so bad? What's the alternative? What's the this?
Yeah.
What's the that? And just, you know.
No, that's fair.
I'm trying. I don't know if that's come across at all
A
in any
little
success
bit.
way.
Maybe not
You're
so
just
much
saying that
today.
to appease me, aren't you?
The thing is, it's difficult, man, because when I listen to some stuff,
We don't really have those conversations anyway very often, to be honest.
no, but we don't actually want to believe that things are as corrupt as they might potentially be. Do you know
I
what
don't
I
know.
mean?
I believe it already.
But then we don't make the connection of like, well, maybe they've lied to us about something. And the thing, the problem is when you talk about one conspiracy theory, it automatically sounds like you believe in all of them, or that like everything's a lie. Everything isn't a lie. But when you find out just a basic thing of like the biggest fines ever given for criminal negligence have been given to all the big pharmaceutical companies that are also the richest companies on the planet, and they've done horrific shit over the years, and horrific shit is still being done. It makes it difficult to trust that what they might be telling you is the truth.
Well, yeah, no.
And when you find out stuff like when a drug goes to peer review, I think it's called in America, for example, the only results that peer review are given are the results that the pharmaceutical company wants to give that peer review. So they're reviewing whatever data that company selected. So they're obviously going to leave out whatever they don't want included. And apparently that's just common knowledge.
And look, at the end of the day, the fault in the system is that they're trying to sell you a product. They're not trying to make you better. They're not trying to help you heal.
100%.
They're trying to sell you a product.
No, 100%.
And so if they've got a pill that is loosely linked to you and your condition, whether there's going to be a success or not, they want doctors promoting it. They want to say, take it, take this, take that.
Yeah. It's not actually about the health of people whatsoever.
No, it's not.
But then I feel like most people would agree with that. But then we don't make the connection that there might be something like so like the excess death things. Maybe there is something there, maybe there isn't. I don't know. I'm not.
You just want more answers.
Yeah, I think we should look into it. Like, why did hundreds of thousands of people more die than would normally or were expected? I didn't even know excess deaths were a thing, to be honest with you. I didn't know we had a expected death level.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one as well, because particularly in the last few years, pandemic aside, it's a bit hard to, because there's so many variables. So, for example, like, first of all, with every year, and I'm not excusing any of this, by the way, I'm just throwing out some questions that should be asked and thought about. Every year, I'm just making you up in your mind, man. Think about the truth, Don't hear everything you absorb everything you hear, you sheep. But one, the world population grows every year. Yeah. So that number is like relative to, if there's more people are going to die. It's a similar
point someone made about the NHS, that the government brags every year that it's investing record levels into the NHS, and she was like, in any sensible world that should happen every year, because otherwise you're investing less.
Because the rate of inflation goes up. Yeah, cost of everything goes up.
Of course you're spending more this year than you were
if you're spending the same this year, you're actually spending less in real terms. So just the fact that if there's more people, there'll be more deaths. Yeah. Outside of pandemic, which was obviously would have had a huge effect on it, you've got to look at things like poverty. Yeah, is a huge health crisis, and the fact is there are more people in poverty now than were 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, all things,
fair points, mate.
All those things are kind of just, you've got to. It's hard to gauge excess death.
Absolutely, but I think that's why we like.
How do you predict how many people are going to die?
Because if, for example, the answer is poverty, that just more people were in poverty post-pandemic, so they died, like whether it's old people then again, that's something we should do something about.
I think.
Like, if it could be the damage done to people's bodies during the pandemic if they contracted COVID. That might be the reason. You know what I mean?
If you were to say to me now, which you sort of have been, more people are dying than ever before, or there are more people dying in this year than were expected to die, I would say my first thought I wouldn't be surprised. I'd think, well, the NHS is stretched as thin as it possibly can, getting any kind of healthcare.
Again, that could perfectly be a reason.
My first response, it would be like, well, getting any kind of healthcare, and if you've got something hidden under the surface, by the time it gets caught, you're going to be way too far down the line.
You find countless stories of people who said, I've just lost a dad because they didn't get the cancer diagnosis in time because
or they were
of the
still
waiting
waiting for their
list.
first treatment.
Yeah,
Or
so no, absolutely, that could definitely be, it could be.
there's so many variables.
It could be all of those variables at once. But yeah.
And I'm not saying it is or it isn't because of COVID,
No.
by the way. I'm not
No,
saying
like,
one way or the other.
and like you said, COVID fucks a lot of shit up, and it fucked up an already fucked up NHS that was already on its last legs. So
just gave them the excuse to gut it even more.
Yeah.
To say, look how ineffective
Well,
it is.
and the fact that we're hearing about these landmark new private hospitals being opened up to lessen the load on the NHS.
Which was all we've been saying for years that's coming, haven't we?
Yeah.
You can go back to early episodes.
They want to get it to as shit a position as possible, so there's no choice other than to do what they're doing.
Well, you can go back. Yeah, you can go back to early episodes of this podcast, which
Yeah.
you can do. You can find, by the way.
Yep.
And we were saying then, and we've been saying it since before we started doing a podcast. All they want to do is make it so shit that when private care is offered as an alternative, we'll go, "Oh, thank God for that! Something that works."
Yeah.
And suddenly we're paying for healthcare,
Yeah.
and we're not only paying for it, we're praising it.
The problem is, I think for most
We're welcoming it.
people, the point that tips what makes worth living in this country, if you lose national health care, that's suddenly very much in the cons column of why you're living here.
Didn't I say before on this pod as well? The only, obviously family and friends and stuff,
Yeah.
but the only
You'd
thing
love to-
really
yeah.
keeping me here, maybe like 90% of the reason I'm here. No, let's be fair, 80%. The other 20, friends and family.
Yeah.
80% of the reason I'm here is because the NHS.
Knowing that whatever happens, if you get unwell, you're going to be looked
And
after.
particularly someone who has like conditions that need
Yeah, absolutely.
constantly
Yeah.
medicating. I'm a very sick man. I'm a very poorly man.
Well, your inhalers for
yeah.
your
No, it is.
asthma,
And it's like,
that on its own would cripple you living in America.
Yeah. if we had an American style
My
system,
dad was
that
a
would be...
diabetic
Yeah.
before he passed away, and his diabetes pen in this country cost him nothing because it was free on the NHS as a diabetic, but cost the NHS anywhere from £8 to an absolute maximum £20, and that's at a very bad. Most of the time,
My medication
under £10
cost me about £10 a go,
Yeah,
but I get a because I need them so often.
yeah, and you save money doing.
I
the
pay
prepaid, don't you?
£120 a year or whatever it
Yeah.
is, and and that gets me all medication,
Yeah,
not just the inhalers.
yeah. If you wanted paracetamol or anything like that from a chemist, they'd do it under that as well.
Yeah.
But if you
Well,
go
anything
to
prescribed
America,
anyway.
that exact same pen that my dad was on would cost him, I think it was up to $200.
Well, the
per pen.
insulin injections,
the
you know,
insulin,
that some diabetics have to have, it's like $300
Yeah.
a vial.
And I remember hearing a story recently of some poor young lad that was splitting his dosage of insulin and he died
Yeah.
because his family just couldn't afford the insulin. And like the fact that we could end up, and to think that we're not heartless enough in this country with everything that's going on in the moment to let people die from not being able to afford medical bills, we absolutely would.
Yeah, because there's already
In
an
the name of
attitude
profit.
exists of, well, if you work hard enough, you know,
should
you won't
be able
have
to
to.
afford
The
it,
reason they
yeah.
can't afford it is because they're lazy, obviously.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
always
assumption. That's
answer.
the implication.
That's always the answer, isn't it? The working class is just lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's worrying. Like I said, we're gonna welcome it in. We're
It
gonna
was
herald it in as the new
definitely-
age.
The problem for me is I'm not a skilled labourer in any way. Do you know what I mean? So finding a decent, like for example, Canada has a national health service. The threshold for being able to move to Canada is a lot higher than wanting to come and live
Yeah.
here. So, or like even, any country like that, it would be much more difficult to go and live there. But you'd want to do it.
Yeah. Oh, big
Yeah.
time. Like when the NHS goes, and I've said when because I really believe, I've believed all my life that it's gonna go. Tories have always wanted it gone. They've
Yeah.
always seen it as an asset stripping problem.
Well,
Plus,
it's a
then they're
money
like, well,
maker.
you know, the government, we get to reduce debt because we're not paying any money into it,
Yeah.
and we can sell it off to our own mates, to our own companies that we own shares in,
Yeah.
and our companies can make a fortune.
And like you just got to look at COVID with our own government and how they filled their pockets while people were dying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you don't think
Like,
they'll fill their pockets,
yeah.
kill us to fill their pockets.
We've already done it.
Already been there.
Yeah.
Got the t-shirt.
And they've all got away with it.
Yeah. No, scary stuff.
So, no, it is 100% scary. But what I will say, at least we're consistent. If people were to go back and listen to our first ever conspiracy episode, which, if I remember correctly, is the McCanns Aren't Murderers and the Bilderberg Elite. I believe that is the name of the episode.
That's a good episode.
It's the first episode we ever argue on.
It's a good episode.
And it was about 9/11. So we're on brand. I'm the conspiracy theorist and Jake's the doubter.
I'm the doubter. Wait, let me see if there's a thing in here that describes me.
You're woke.
There's no woke.
You're mainstream.
Thing is, I am woke, and I'm quite happily woke, because it's like, even if you ask people,
woke basically means is you believe in being nice to other people and equality.
When you ask people that are like anti-woke,
yeah.
if you describe woke to them without calling it woke, being aware, being alert of injustices,
they will go,
yeah, that's me. It's like, well, it's not, because you're actually fighting to try and get it banned. Yeah. But yeah, let's see if there's a word in here for me. You keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking. Shall I play the people a bit of music?
Yeah, play the people a bit of music.
She call me Mr. Bombastic, tell me fantastic. Touch me on me back, she says I'm Mr. Rowe.
I would say the closest I've got here, as maybe as a fact checker or a fact checkers, maybe might be a close.
What's the explanation for fact checker?
Fact checker, fact denier.
Do you know what? That fits with the conversation we were having.
And fact checkers, narrative pushers.
Yeah.
So I'm a fact denier.
The thing is, there is a healthy thing that should always happen, and the thing is, all the stuff I've talked about, like, could it be vaccine? It could all be wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've heard and seen enough that I think we should at least have a look into stuff. But if we had a big platform, we would be demonetised for this episode at the very least. We would get a strike. And the people I've heard talk about that aren't people that need the clout of saying they're being silenced, if you get what I mean.
I was saying this as well. I'm just reading this. A lot of the political stuff they get pretty bang on. Political expert, professional liar. Wouldn't disagree. Parliament, a group of lying, self-serving actors, or an insult to a group of owls. Wouldn't agree. Wouldn't disagree, rather. Yeah, public inquiry, whitewash and cover up. That's sort of what they become.
Yeah.
I wouldn't,
Well, the thing is, even when a public inquiry comes back with a certain
suggestion,
if it's alternative to, again, that's the word, the mainstream, or what the government is peddling at the time, like whether it was Boris,
Grenfell,
they'll just find a way to excuse it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if
not
judges,
implemented the changes.
If judges rule against something they agree with, they're enemies of the people. Do you know what I mean? There's
just about every inquiry that's been, by the way, public inquiry, and I'm thinking about public inquiries into the institutional racism in the police, public inquiries into the Leveson inquiry, into the press and their dealings, public inquiries into, any of this stuff that they've only just started doing, into Grenfell. All of them, I think they've all come with, clear suggestions about what needs to happen to improve, improve the standards, but also the accountability and all that stuff.
Yeah.
None of them have ever been implemented. None of the suggestions have ever gone through.
No, of course they haven't. And like, they'll even try and discredit the people doing the inquiries, won't they? Like Sue Gray.
Yeah.
Like, it's been proven without a shadow of a doubt that nothing she's done is untoward, that she was completely unbiased in her approach to her inquiry.
She acted professionally
throughout the entire
unbiased
process, and because she's gone and taken a job with the Labour Party post the inquiry, and apparently they've proven that contact wasn't made for the job until post the inquiry, it is still, most people would probably, if you approached them, would say that she has done something untoward, or she took a bum.
You're probably right.
I think maybe not everyone, but I think if you went to a certain people, you'd find enough people saying that she's done
even just your man on the street would say, "Oh, it's a bit wrong, isn't it?"
Yeah, or if you if they go, "Oh, who's Sue Gray?" And you go, the lady that did the inquiry and then went to work for that. Oh, yeah, she took a bribe.
Yeah, well, obviously she was going to say something bad, wasn't she?
Yeah, Boris was just fine for the people. He was doing his best. That's what gets me, is when I still see people say he was just doing his best at the time. He was.
Yeah,
maybe he was
said at the time.
That's not fucking good enough.
That's what worried me, is that probably was his best.
Yeah. I don't think it was. I think there's a best
inadequate
version of Boris where he could have Like, if you had someone with the ability to get people to buy into him as much as he can, but as a force for good, then the potential for that is almost limitless in terms of where you
It's just
could
funny.
move
I just had a
people.
conversation with someone at work the other day about like the doing their best.
Yeah.
Because I sort of said, like, because part of our contracts, like, or not necessarily in my contract, but it says to work to the best of your ability.
Okay.
As part of it somewhere in the clause.
Yeah.
And
It's
I was
a
like,
very
well, this is the thing.
because
I had to say to the guy, like, look, I've got no way to prove this. I said, but I personally believe that the best of your, I said, you signed a contract that said you work to the best of your ability. I don't believe that the best of your ability is sitting around on your phone for 8 hours a day. I've got no way to prove that, but I believe that you're capable of a little bit more.
Yeah.
I
think that's a reasonable request as an
You'd
employee.
think so.
Personally.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
But again, it's such murky waters of like, well, yeah, but what if that is his best?
Yeah.
What can I say contractually? He's fulfilling his...
No, but if he's then... No, but even beyond that, there'll be like surely like measurable things within his performance. Like, are you completing day-to-day tasks? No, you're not. So performance match. Do you know what I mean? I'm not telling grandma. I'm not teaching grandma how to suck eggs, by the way.
No, definitely. But it always struck me as a little bit of an odd one to have in there.
Yeah, I've never quite seen that in a contract.
But I did think, I was like, well, that's the angle I'm going to go with, because it's passive aggressive is what it is.
Yeah, but it's also not too aggressive.
It's not me coming in and saying
you're shit.
You're a lazy fucker.
Yeah,
it's me coming in and going,
I think
there's a little bit more here. I think.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's do some actual fucking work, you lazy prick.
Yeah. How about we put your phone on charge for a bit?
Oh, this is what I said to him. I was like, I don't want to get to that point where I like take everyone's phones off them at the start of the day. Yeah. But that's absolutely what will happen if it carries on.
Yeah.
So
if people abuse it, they lose it,
balls in his court. But yeah, it was like they'd have to use that for that whole best, doing your best.
Yeah. I had a question I wanted to ask you, and it was based off of a tweet.
Depends how cold it. Oh no, different thing. Depends.
It was well, it could be something similar if it was a tweet. We know what you're like in your pictures. And I was just interested what your thought process was. You tweeted about the Newcastle documentary.
Yeah.
That people shouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
It's sports washing.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that? I think I know what your answer will be. But because we've had the conversation about what do we do in these ethical situations between that and watching the World Cup.
What, the Qatar World Cup?
Yeah.
Morally I was in the same perspective as on the World Cup. It was just I found it very difficult not to watch it because I'm hooked on football. And also you're a fan of it. You're not a fan of Newcastle, so I understand there's. But I didn't want to be. Every day I watched the World Cup, I thought I felt a little bit odd. Yeah. Are you glad England didn't win it? Yeah, because it would have always had an asterisk over it, and it really would. Honestly, I've never wanted England to win a World Cup less than I did, because I wasn't watching any of it, and the Euros before that I'd got proper into and really enjoyed, and you get to the final, it's a special occasion. You get sucked into it. You do get sucked into it. But the idea of England winning that World Cup would have broken my heart. No, and I wasn't able to avoid it because it was the only football that was on. Yeah. Right when the season should have been happening, so I should have been getting football anyway. And I thought, okay, do you know what? It's on. I'm going to watch it. This I'd have to go and seek it out. So this is much easier for me to say, don't watch this. They're just going to tell you. They're just going to look how good Newcastle is and they want to make Amanda Staveley the public face, and it's like no. The fucking exactly Saudi back thing. There, absolutely. That's exactly why she's there. And she's been a part of other consortiums previously that have failed to take over. How do you feel about the documentary? Do you feel anything? I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. I'd seen the trailer and I thought, it looks all right. But I'm sort of like done with football documentaries a little bit. Like they're all the same. I'm looking forward to the Wrexham one because you're already invested. Yeah, and I like Rob and Ryan. I've really I didn't think anything about Rob McElhenney. I like Rob McElhenney, yeah. But my opinion of him has changed. I think he's an absolutely lovely human being. Everything I see about him. I mean, the fact he learnt Welsh or is learning Welsh. And he's become a cultural ambassador almost, hasn't he? He's proper. He went into London and did a speech in Welsh. They've gone a lot further than I think any of the other big names that have recently got involved with football clubs. Thing is, yes, they are coming in as like this celebrity thing, but they have bought into not just the club, but the community. They've bought into the culture around it.
And what made me buy into them the most was when their accounts got released the other year, and they compared their turnover pre and post, and the work they've done to get money into Wrexham, and from what I've heard, the stuff they're
for all
doing
the sponsorship
in the
deals
local
and stuff.
area.
And
Well, they went from having, I think it was Evil Williams trailers to TikTok.
Yeah.
And things like that. Now, obviously, that wouldn't be there without them, but their plan long term is to build a sustainable club, which I think they're probably going to do. Whether that means they'll achieve the success they want to achieve, I don't know. But there's a massive difference in that for me and the Newcastle one. I think that story's more enjoyable. The Newcastle one is, at its core, just a story of sports washing. It's a royal family and arguably distasteful. The way they behave is distasteful, more than distasteful. They murder journalists and do all sorts.
Also, for me, the Wrexham one.
I don't know. I wouldn't feel as upset about watching that as I would the World Cup. I don't know why. Like, it's just I guess if it was on, I'd watch it, but I'm probably not going to seek it out either. Like, I never finished watching the Arsenal one or the Man City one.
Them prime ones, them do or die.
They're not quite as good.
They're kind of shit.
Yeah.
I watched the City one and I did get all the way through, and I was kind of like,
whereas did they
didn't
do
get enough
the
of
Palace
that
one?
No. Where Eagles Dare? No, that was like a home-produced one.
I thought that was brilliant.
That was produced by, I think, Chris Grierson.
And like, there's good football documentaries out there. Like, there's one called The 5-Year Plan, which is the QPR one, which is fantastic. But no, like,
the thing I like about the Wrexham one, is that, and the reason I can watch it and not watch the others is because it's not just like an advert for the. Obviously, it is an advert for the club. It's not just. They go, what you do is you follow 3 or 4 sets of fans through the season. Yeah. And you're with the fans as well. And you're also seeing their lives outside of football. You're seeing how it relates to football, but you're seeing their lives outside of football. You're seeing...
Well, and they showed you the good and the bad of it. Like, there was some that it was just their life and blood, and that was a good thing. But for others, like one guy, he'd ended up becoming a hooligan. Yeah. And his missus lost out on the chance of being a policewoman because of his part. And like, so you got to see. For me,
that's easier to watch than just watching us going, look at the club, look at the club. We're a good club. Look at the good club, yeah. Which is sort of what the Newcastle one looks like, which is exactly what the prime ones.
No thought or real effort would have gone into that documentary, and they would have probably heavily edited it. Like, at least I felt, and I sort of feel for Tenny Alley a little bit, because I think that's probably the most memorable moment from any of the Amazon ones, was when Jose sat Dele Alli down and said, "I don't want you to look back on your career and regret anything." So you get the occasional one, but I don't think the prime ones are really there for
No, they weren't good enough. They were boring.
I felt like they were trying to make it clickbaity as well. Like, the one thing that was being talked about in the Arsenal one was Arteta having the speakers of the Anfield crowd on the training pitch and stuff like that, and he was just getting mocked. And so,
yeah, no, I just don't find them. Like I said, they're boring. They don't get my attention. No. Whereas the Wrexham one, because you were meeting all the fans,
was good as well.
It was like, okay, now you, and also for even the way it's shot is, I want that steady cam. I want the nitty gritty. You're on the steady cam because you don't know what room you're going to be in next.
No,
you're following someone. They might go into the physio room. They might go into the boardroom. They might wherever, but you're ready because you're following it. So the footage is a bit. When you've got to set up tripods and cameras, and you've got all the cameras in the corner and stuff, it's just like, no, it's staged. Yeah. It's way more staged. Yeah. And I'm not saying the other ones aren't, but less so.
Like, the things they even show it in Wrexham, and again, they're honest about the effect it has on people around them. Like, there's one where Ryan turns up to do some promo, and some of the people around the club are absolutely fuming. They're like, they've completely interrupted the day. It's going to fuck everything up. And then Ryan, sort of off camera or like on camera, but to the side, is like, I know this has messed everything up today, but at the same time, it's going to earn
we need to
money
promote
that's
the brand.
Important for the club. So we sort of just have to suck it up when it happens.
Yeah. No, but I know they're all staged, but it's a little less staged than ones.
Yeah, but we're seeing. I don't really get what's going on in that regard in football at the moment, because like Tom Brady's invested in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's invested in Bournemouth.
That was a couple of years ago.
No, I know, but he does Instagram posts of him watching the game, and
I think it's just becoming trendy.
Yeah,
I think it's just branding.
But I don't know what. Do you think that's what they just want to?
I think so.
Is Birmingham where Tom Brady needs to be spreading his name?
No, but you don't want to go. You don't want to go to a big club because they've settled for money. They don't need you.
Or do you think what they're selling to some of these A-listers, and it just popped into my head, is that So if Tom Brady buys into Birmingham for 20 million and they go, look, with your name attached to the club, we'll be able to attract X amount of investment, and 3 or 5 years down the line, we'll probably get bought again by someone else, and you're going to make 100 million.
Yeah, and also, I think there's an element of people saying, look, you come on board with someone like Birmingham, because it's like there's a club that's just steady in the Championship, but with the right investment and being able to attract the right players,
you can get it to
a face like yours. In a couple of years, you could own a Premier League club.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan as well. You know, Bournemouth. They're not the biggest club, but it's like, but they could do something special.
Yeah. Do you think? It could be they've seen the way Wrexham's been received, perhaps, and how people are lauding Ryan and Rob, and they want a piece of that.
Yeah, but equally, you know, what they're not taking into account, and what people never take into account, is the full thing is Rob and Ryan are being praised because they've brought into the community.
Yeah, they've embraced the local community.
They've not just brought into
and like, I've seen
a
video of Tom Brady in a local pub in Birmingham meeting the fans, and it's like, yeah, that's great, a one-off, but like, how often is he going to make the trip? How involved is he going to be?
I mean, what I quite liked was Michael B. Jordan posted a thing the other day where he'd got up early to watch the Bournemouth game. I think he
was drinking coffee in his Bournemouth shirt.
And it's like, that's it. And, you know, you see quite often in the Wrexham documentary, Rob McElhenney up at 5 in the morning watching,
having breakfast
fucking
with his son.
Wrexham against, you know, Port Vale or whoever. Yeah. It's like, how often are you going to watch the games? How much are you going to care about this? Because for the fans, it is so much.
Yeah.
So how much do you actually care, or do you just want to put your face on a brand?
That's and that's what concerns me, because worst case scenario in these situations, clubs go bust. Do you know what I mean? When these people, like, look at Derby, it's a shadow of where it was previously.
And it doesn't matter to you because you walk away. So what? You lost a bit of a bad investment. Yeah. It matters to the fans though.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely believe Rob McElhenney, I think Ryan Reynolds has bought into it. You see that in the documentary. Yeah. He's not initially fully on board.
I don't think he knew what he was doing.
By the end, he's all in it.
Yeah.
And when you see him now in interviews and stuff, he's all in it.
Yeah.
But Rob McElhenney, if Wrexham went under, not only would he see it as a personal failure because he was involved in it would genuinely hurt him.
Yeah.
He would genuinely be upset. Not just because the guilt, but because that's my club.
Yeah.
That's the club I support. Like, it's,
yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
And the thing is, they've been trusted by the fans with their club. The fans owned it. So they've chosen to let Rob and Ryan...
Yeah. But as I said, beyond the guilt of, that was me that fucked it up, it was like, no, that's my club. I've just lost.
And they would have pissed off an entire nation.
And that's what happens to the fans. That's what it means to the fans.
Yeah.
And I think Rob McElhenney gets that. I think Rob McElhenney is...
100%. 100%.
It would hurt him.
Yeah.
Whereas Tom Brady and Michael B. Jordan, with all due respect, I don't know much about the Michael B. Jordan thing. I could be doing them a
complete disservice.
Is Tom Brady going to give a shit if Birmingham go bust?
It's hard to believe it, isn't it? Yeah. Currently, until we know. But then we're going to start seeing more documentaries of, like, Tom Brady, like, milling round St Andrews. Do you know what I mean?
I'm finding some of the... Just quickly, I'm finding some of the sports documentaries really boring lately. So I heard a few people talking big about Full Swing.
Oh, what's
Netflix thing on golfers.
Oh, okay.
And I thought we were going to get some real behind the scenes, you know, cameras in the locker room. So when the players have had a shit round, they're going to come in and throw their clubs around and give it the odd, like, fucking hooked everything to the right, bastard this and fuck that. And it was just the biggest load of, like, PGA fucking propaganda with just, it was like the first episode I watched, and it was...
Is it promoting Live
Jordan
Golf?
Spieth. No. So it was just so Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, and they're like friends from childhood. I'm like, great, we're going to maybe see that. No,
Scottish.
You literally just... No, American, both American. So you just literally just see them both kind of talking to camera and going... Yeah, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You know, you're not always on the form you want.
Just dry.
And then you're watching shots of them play, and the commentator going, you know, Jordan is now one round away from... And you're like, yeah, I know this. I saw the fucking tournament. Like, I want to see the other stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see hardly any behind-the-scenes stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to watch the rest of this series.
No.
And people do that thing like, it gets good. It's like, mate, I'm not investing in... And I feel like all the sport documentaries now...
Well, they're just a form of propaganda, aren't they?
I feel like all the owners of the sports... either the leagues or the teams, I feel like they've jumped on it and they're like, it's a tool of propaganda. It's like, no, but that's not what makes a good sports documentary.
No, you want to see what's going on behind the scenes.
It's seeing stuff go wrong. It's seeing stuff.
You want to see an owner screaming at fans outside a pub, if you don't stop insulting me, I'm going to sell your football club.
I want to see Neil Warnock in there giving a 10-minute rant. Yeah. And also, you know, if Chelsea did one now, for example, I don't want to see you know, them doing a bit to camera going, oh, you know, Chelsea are now 1-0 down to Manchester United with 10 minutes on the clock. Here comes Mason Mount. Can he, you know, I don't want to see that in the game that I've already seen.
Yeah.
I want to see Bowley coming in at half time, not knowing what the fuck he's talking about and trying to rouse his players.
Yeah.
You know, like he's doing any given Sunday.
Like
That's what I want to see.
Waiting outside the dressing room for them all to come in and stopping the manager and going, I got this.
But that happened, didn't they? He went down during the game.
Did he actually?
At half time and gave a speech. And it was under the Lampard era, because I remember there were a lot of reports that Lampard was really, really pissed off that he'd done that. He was like, I'll do the football. You don't even know the game. You don't even know that we don't automatically qualify for the Champions League. But that's the stuff. But Chelsea would never show that if they did a documentary.
No. Because it looks too bad.
Yes, it doesn't reflect well.
No.
But that's the stuff
Whereas
I want to see.
actually, in reality, that's the best stuff to show, because if you then learn from it
It's
and
human.
actually turn things round, like,
It's
looks
redemption,
good. Yeah. So, no, they're missing the entire point of it.
And I'll tell you what's going to be missed as well. And a lot of people have spoken about this. Someone really famously said it, and I can't give them credit because I can't remember who it was. But the fact that Barbie has been so successful.
Yeah.
Someone said, what Hollywood are going to see is, people want more films about toys. And it's like, no, you need to give...
We want more humour.
We want more films for women, by women, or certainly by women. We want more female voices and original content.
Yeah.
But they're going to miss the point and go, toys, that's what sells.
What hit it off about Barbie was it was just not what people were expecting the movie to be. It was...
And it was fun.
It was twisting something on its head and making it completely different to what you were expecting.
To quote Professor Frink in The Simpsons, when he turns up at the end and he's got his own theme song, you know, Professor Frink, he'll make you laugh, he'll make you think. That's kind of Barbie.
Yeah.
It'll make you laugh, it'll make you think.
Yeah.
But it's, they Hollywood are going to miss the point on that.
Yeah. I don't think there's enough comedies in general now.
No, I saw someone and they framed it, the article framed it, Adam... I can't think of his name. Devine. Yeah, did you see it? Because they framed it as like...
He was blaming Marvel.
Marvel of like... Ruin. And he came out and clarified it and he said, no, what I said in the interview, and if you actually watch the interview rather than just like read that shitty clip they've taken...
Yeah, I've heard him talk about it on other podcasts as well.
He said, what I said was, because of the Marvel model, no one wants to make 90-minute comedies. No one wants to
They want to make the blockbuster.
Yeah, they want to put 200 million on the line, but rather than just saying, here's 20 million, go and make a 90-minute comedy.
Take a chance on Black Adam or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
And he was like, that's what's killed the genre. And he's right.
No, it has.
Yeah. Everyone wants to make the same thing. And actually, if you make something a bit different, you'll be more successful for it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also don't know if that's what everyone wants. I think people get used to getting blockbusters and stuff like that.
Mm. But yeah, no, definitely. So I just wanted to say on the sports thing, I just find so many of them unwatchable.
No, they're just... I think they either...
You're not seeing anything new.
They either need to be disastrous, like Sunderland Till I Die, where it's just 3 seasons of everything going wrong at a football club, or something like Wrexham that's quite heartwarming and you get more of the actual behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and you get to see how it affects people's lives.
Because the same with them Amazon ones as well. Like 30 to 40% of them is, I would say 30% of them is a voiceover while you watch them train in slow motion.
Yeah.
30% of them is watching a game and them saying, oh, this is what's happening in the game and this is what happened and this is what it means for the season. This is where they are in the table or whatever. And it's like, and what? With most people watching this are already fans. They know this shit.
Yeah.
What's the stuff we don't know? And then the other half is them doing bits to camera and going, you know, essentially doing like post-game interviews and going like,
well, I
didn't like losing, but, you know, we go again. And it's like, bro, that's not...
No, it's not the reality.
Where's the grit, the human?
Where's the drama?
Where's the new stuff?
Where's the actual...
the new stuff? Where's the stuff we haven't seen?
Yeah. But the thing is, we know from, like, football in particular, that's not what they want to show us. They don't want honest footballers. They don't want honest managers.
It's why someone like Jack Grealish has become such the hit he has, because he's not media trained.
He's not even that outspoken, to be honest with you.
He's just not media trained.
He's just not media trained. He's seen as like an absolute legend.
He comes out. If you ask him a question, he'll answer it. He won't give you the same. Footballers have become a bit like, and I'm just thinking this up on the spot. They've become a bit like politicians, where regardless of what you ask them, they're going to tell you the party line. They're going to tell you what's coming from the club.
Yeah.
They're going to say, you know, if they've lost, you know, rather than getting real gritty and saying, well, I think this is why we lost, they just go, you know, it's not fun, but we go again. And you're like, that's not what I asked you.
No.
I think that's how it's becoming a bit.
No, I think you're absolutely
And that's
spot
why
on.
someone like Grealish stands out, because it's like, no, if you ask him a question, he'll answer. Same with like Haaland, to his credit.
Yeah.
If the right people ask the right questions,
He'll
he can be
answer.
a bit dismissive and blah, but if the right people ask the right questions, yeah, he'll be very honest with him.
Yeah.
You know, even about
But
his own
otherwise,
game
they're
or
like,
whatever.
Did you enjoy the game today? He's like, yeah.
Yeah. But if someone he respects, like when I've seen, and you must have seen something, when like Thierry Henry asks him a question,
Yeah.
and it's a bit more of a technical question,
Yeah.
he will answer it and he will say, yeah, I don't think this particular system is working for my strength. And he'll say, it's up to me to change that.
Yeah.
But right now, yeah, it's not really benefiting me. I don't know what I'm doing in it, kind of thing. And it's really nice and honest and refreshing, rather than saying the manager knows what he's doing. And
yeah, I trust him implicitly and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it makes a difference. But there you go. Sports films. That's gone on a bit, innit?
I would say that's a pod, bro. I think we've.
Where are we at?
We're over an hour.
Oh, only just over an hour?
Yeah.
What's the time, Ron?
1:05.
My man, I thought it was like 1:40. I thought we were gone.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's only an hour, but it feels like a pod.
As you can see, my sense of time is impeccable as always.
Yeah, as always.
I don't like the undertone with which you said that. I thought that was very loaded.
No, you're not.
Sentiment.
Actually, no, timing's not something you're too bad on, actually.
That you and I both know it is.
Occasionally. You just don't like getting up early.
I don't. And I'll tell you what else I do. And we've said this before. I very much misjudge how long a task is going to take me.
No, I get that.
And so, like, for example, when I'm leaving, I'll be like, well, I need to leave in 5 minutes. Here's a task that will only take me 2.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I probably should have left by now.
Yeah.
And that's usually to your detriment. Although on these ones I'm not too bad at, because I don't do anything. I come home, get changed and leave.
Yeah. So, no, you're normally all right with the pod, to be fair.
Take it as a win.
Yeah.
Take the wins where you can.
Yeah, I haven't got any complaints in that regard.
And do you know what? Also on the sports documentaries,
Yes.
see that conversation we had earlier?
Yeah.
That would never get shown on one of them Amazon ones.
No.
That's too.
What, disagreeing?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they don't, on those sort of things, because it's supposed to be poppy and look how amazing this brand
It's
is,
glossy,
how family
yes.
friendly it is. They don't actually want conflict. They don't, like, I think I think as it's gone on, it's got worse, because you saw it. I think the Tottenham one's probably the most honest one we got.
Just because of Jose, to be honest.
That, and there was you got shown it once, which was where I think Eric Dyer goes into the dressing room and he starts moaning, and Dele Alli's like, if you're calling people out, call them out. Like, fucking say a name. Like, don't just sit there mouthing off.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the Tottenham one, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, there were moments. It's mostly just Jose, because Jose's still going to play the rules.
I felt like the Man City one was just a massive advert, particularly
for
about
Man
Pep.
City and Pep.
No,
it was Pep, because even his back staff didn't really get.
But all I got from watching that was how high maintenance he was.
Yeah, and how much
there
he
was
swears.
a guy whose job is, and he admits it, I'm just here for Pep. My job is to make sure Pep isn't too upset, basically. I will sit there and Pep will scream at me about whatever the issue is, and then he'll calm down, we'll talk through it, and he'll go away and...
Yeah, and how much
like, how high maintenance have you got? Like, I think everyone would love that now and again, wouldn't they? To just be like, Jose, come over here, and like, you're not angry at him.
The thing is, I'd feel terrible if I was paying the guy.
I mean, he's probably being paid
I'd feel
quite
terrible
well. I don't
for
feel
just
bad
like
for him.
there's someone that I just
he's
unload.
He's probably earning 20 grand a week to be Pep's screaming.
Yeah, if I was earning that kind of money, you could verbally abuse me massively.
You'd put up with it
gladly,
as long as it's not Saudi money.
I draw the line at moving to Manchester.
That's a good question to potentially end on. What would be your number for you to give up your moral principles?
It's hard to say, because honestly, sitting here where I am, it's easy for me to say I don't have a number.
No, but realistically we do.
If someone, not just hypothetically, because if you throw a number at me and go $1 million a week, I go, yeah, whatever. No, because it's not real. But if someone really put that money on a plate,
yeah,
I don't know what my answer would be.
It's in your account tomorrow.
That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say when it's hype, when it's not real.
Yeah.
But I don't have a price. Do you
I
think you
we
know
all
what your
do.
price is?
I don't
Yeah,
have.
I just don't know what
I
it
think
is.
mine's probably lower than most people would say theirs are, because I'm just being realistic. Like the amount of money it would take to be life changing is at a very low bar compared to David Beckham or Jordan Henderson for me. Like, I'd be happy on 10% of what they were on
I was going to say a couple of
before
thousand.
they went to
Couple of thousand
money.
a year
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
a life-changing amount of money.
yeah, absolutely. So, to being honest, it probably wouldn't take that much for me to sell out my principles. If it was serious money and they were like serious about it,
What I like
it'd be difficult.
is the idea that
I think I'd lean heavily on, do we need to actually be associated? Like, do we have to say your name? Does it need to be on the screen behind me? Like, do I have to have Visit Saudi on the
just
wall
the little
behind
flag,
me?
wave the little Saudi
do I
flag.
need to wear green a lot? Do you know what I mean? Like, how
Do
bad
I have to
is
get
this
out and
getting?
shout every time I see a woman driving? You know,
Like,
where do you draw the
have
line?
we got the Saudi flag on the microphone? Do you know what I mean? Like, how far have we gone?
But what I like is the idea that the prince, in all his wonderful
Yeah.
princely goodness, you see, I can do the job. Pay me fucking money.
Mm.
But in all his princeliness, is like writing checks left, right, and centre. He's clicking his fingers, and
He's
guys are
probably
coming over.
He must have someone doing the checks for him
Like,
now.
look,
Surely he ain't got the time for
He
that.
clicks his fingers, and someone comes over with opens up a suitcase full of cash. Another one comes over, suitcase full of bars, and he's working his way down the line. And then he gets to you, and he fishes in his pocket and gets out like all the loose change, and he's like, "That's yours."
Just about like a small handful of gold coins. I'm like, yeah, fair enough, mate. Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah. But no, I'm just being honest. I think the bar's low.
No, I think you're right.
And I think the reason I'm being honest about that is because I've listened to stuff where they're like, we'd like to think, for example, if we had been in Nazi Germany, that there's no way we could have gone along
But
with.
obviously we would have, because they did.
Yeah. So
I know that's a really
and they take you through like a mental exercise where they're like, right, now imagine this. All right, still a no. Okay, well then
look at the way we treat
yeah.
immigrants.
Yeah. It's an
eye-opening mentality.
It's not a long walk away.
Yeah, because it's not just thing is you're not just following order. A lot of them were. Not to be too again. I'm going to just.
There's going to be mitigation.
I'm talking in very simplistic terms.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a lot more complex than this in everything I say.
Yeah.
But a lot of them weren't following orders. A lot of them bought into it. A lot of them really thought they. But if you put if you put a gun in someone's hand and said go and shoot an immigrant, you go stand on the beach and you shoot as they coming in.
Yeah.
The closer they got, people would be less likely to. But I reckon if you put them far enough out so that you couldn't see the faces,
people would.
People
there
would
definitely be
happily
that
shoot
would.
live rounds.
Yeah.
At the boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I believe it.
It would be lovely for me to sit here and just go, there's no way I could give up my morals. And it's why I was honest with Leanne when she asked me about it. I'm like, if they hit a certain bar and I'm like, well, this is what, because I could live on a lot less for the rest of my life than someone like Jordan Henderson.
And you
could as well.
you could be thinking, well, ultimately, once your morals are sold, they're sold.
Yeah.
But there'd be a bit of you, there'd be a bit of me. I'm not going to put this on you.
Of course it's tinted.
No, there'd be a bit of me that's thinking, compromising with myself and going, well, I'm not selling them because I'll do it for a couple of years and then once I've made all my money, I'll give it up. It's
once
like,
I'm
no,
successful, I'll stop taking
the fact
the
you've
money.
even taken the money, your morals are gone. But there'd be a bit of me like, no.
Yeah.
It's sort of all right because I'll only do it for a bit, take their money, fuck them, and then I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back and I'm slagging them off with their money, yeah.
Yeah.
But once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think my threshold would be a lot lower than perhaps I'd like to think it would be.
I think your threshold for a lot of things is a lot lower than most people would think.
Yeah. I think that's the case for all of us, though, if we're just being honest.
I've seen your threshold.
Yeah.
I've signed up to your accounts.
Yeah. And I'm still not giving you a discount code no matter what you do.
God
how
damn
much
it,
you
I'm
try to
just going to
butter me
keep
up.
asking.
I'll keep asking and you're not going to get. Do you know what I mean?
Would you run a promo thing if you were in that line of work?
Run a promo?
Yeah.
For what?
If you were in that line of work, if you had a page like that, would you run discounts
Saudi?
every now and that?
Oh, thought you meant for Saudi.
No, not those guys.
Fans. Would I do a discount code? No, I'm worth paying.
Full price the whole time.
Yeah, I'm worth paying for.
No, the 100th customer gets 50% or.
No, they're lucky to sign up to my content.
Oh, listen, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Don't know why you charged me. I did notice on the last bill you had mates rates and you doubled the bill, but I didn't question it because it's good content.
I think it's awkward sometimes when your friends are watching it, so I need the extra money to feel better about it.
Because you know I'm at home doing what I'm doing, whilst making digital eye contact.
Along with God knows who else from your family.
Well, just a few of the servants. Yeah. Nothing too big.
No, it's just a small gathering.
And don't worry. I pay for each of them. They've all got their own accounts.
Okay.
We just like to do big screen, group watching.
Get together every now and again and enjoy it.
Your sort of sexual bravado, I think, deserves an audience to be shared. Yeah,
deserves an audience.
You shouldn't be experiencing that alone.
No.
It's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's a bit much for you.
So you need support.
You need someone. You need a support network around you.
Yeah, I can't disagree. Some of the stuff I do, you need someone there with a strong stomach to help.
And sometimes you just need someone there to believe that it happened. You know, you're like, did we see that?
We experienced it together. Bit like when we watched Abducted in Plain Sight.
Oh, that was one of the best. Do you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I would have enjoyed it on my own, but I don't think I'd have enjoyed it as much.
If it wasn't together.
Yeah. Because it was just reacting together. I think we paused it like 3 or 4 times because it was just
had to walk away for a moment.
What has just happened?
Yeah.
And we knew that.
Please, we've said it before. Anyone who's not watched it, it must still be on Netflix. It's called Abducted in Plain Sight. Just watch it. And it's fucked from start to finish.
Be laughing so much at times that you will have to just pause it because you won't hear anything else, and it's all worth hearing.
Yeah, you need to take it in.
Just left field.
Yeah. Yeah, you just needed my help.
Oh my god, just 2 friends hanging out.
Yeah.
Just 2 bros doing bro things.
To be honest, that's a recurring theme in this podcast.
That there's a lot more underlying homosexuality between
men,
male friends.
Yeah.
The stag do thing always comes up in my mind.
Men just end up doing shit with
we were on a stag do, we ended up having sex, as happened. You're like, wait, what? Sorry, what?
We ended up bumming each other.
It just happens,
Yeah. His knob ended up in my mouth.
Yeah, you're on a stag do. Like, but you keep saying that as if that's a precursor to gay sex. You're like,
I think what they're implying is it's a messy occasion where things went dark.
For one of them, it did.
Yeah, maybe for both. Don't assume people are selfish.
Well, that's the thing. As a gay man, I imagine you probably either you just know or you've experimented early on in your sexuality to know which role you prefer. How do 2 straight men who are just having sex on a stag do as it happens? Yeah, how do you decide?
Maybe it just happens naturally. As I've never actually experienced.
That's where you find out who the true alphas are.
I just can't imagine if that ever happened between us, and we've had this debate before.
Yeah, we have had this debate.
The natural thing would be for you to be the giver.
But I've got that little man complex.
Yeah, and I'll stroke your ego while I pound you into dust.
I'll give you a reach round. Not what more you can want.
I'll give you a reach round. It's fine.
That's a petty argument where we sit for hours going, I'll give you a reach around. No, I'll give you a reach around, mate.
Leanne don't listen to this.
Oh, I hope she does. But she gets it. Stag do's are stag do's.
Yeah, what happens on tour stays
What it makes, though, because, do you know, I'm starting to worry now. Not worry, I'm starting to wonder about my own sexuality because recently I've been thinking, I really want to go on a stag do.
Does that
I thought it was because it was just, they're good fun, everyone gives themselves up.
Cock.
Maybe it just means I want a bit of cock.
Yeah.
But everyone, in my head, I'm like, well, everyone's there for the spirit.
Yeah.
No one says no, it's all a good luck. No one says no again, that's the problem.
That's the implication.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But maybe in my head, I'm like, ever since I found out what happens on stag do's, I'm like, well, I want to go on another stag do.
Does it make you wonder, did anyone we know?
They must have. We went on a stag do.
Because I know I didn't.
But anyone else who ever says, oh, I can't wait for a stag do, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm
Is
just
that
like,
why?
we know what you're really looking forward to, mate. We know what you're really looking forward to. Yes. Hot dog party going on.
Yeah. And everyone's invited.
Yeah, we know what's happening.
Yeah.
Except I wasn't invited.
I don't want to be bummed on my stag do whenever it happens.
Please don't bum me on my stag do.
That's my one. No sexual assault.
No strip clubs, no sexual assault.
Yeah.
I would say on your wedding, well, not your wedding night, on your stag night.
I hope not on my wedding night.
I don't know what you get up to, and I'm not here to kink shame.
I hope I'm not getting bummed.
It's a very common thing. Prince Harry's into it. No, it was William. No, it was William.
Allegedly.
Prince William's into it.
Allegedly.
I'm not here to kink shame. I'm here to royal shame, but not kink shame.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think on your stag night, you would be allowed to give
Oh, wow. That's
I
very
think
generous of you.
That's not me. I would offer up someone else in my place.
Oh, I take it back. Because what I was about to say, I absolutely would not reciprocate on your stag do.
And that is why it's not me.
Yeah.
If I thought there was a fair give and take, for want of a better term,
Yeah. Pardon the pun.
I'd consider it.
No.
But I know that's
one-sided.
not coming back my way.
No. I've taken too much damage, bro.
There's only so much you can fit up there.
Yeah, exactly. As you know from watching my OnlyFans.
Yes. I've kept a track.
Yeah. There's a catalogue of the things I've inserted.
And all of them are just not quite big enough.
No.
We get you there though.
We can try.
But
Might have to have reconstructive surgery.
On your stag night, you need not worry.
I hope not. If I wake up with a sore bum, I'm going to be really upset.
Thing is, bro, I've been out with you one night, drinking nights and stag nights. If you wake up on a sore bum, no one's surprised.
No.
No one's we're just like, that happened, finally happened.
Finally got what he deserved.
It's been coming.
Oh, just
Been
flirting
coming.
too much, wearing provocative outfits. He deserved it.
That's the thing, you would. I'm not victim shaming,
That's what it
like
sounds
victim
like.
blaming. But I could definitely see you being in a situation where you've led someone on and they're now quite expectant of what they're going to get.
Yeah.
Because you've definitely at one point.
I feel like I'm big enough to avoid a raping, though.
I don't think it will go. I don't think it will go far enough to go full sexual assault. But I can definitely see you in a situation where, because
Someone gets angry.
at one point you've been flirting, and then you've had one drink just enough, and then you've gone beyond flirting, and you've just flat out said sexual things that you're going to do.
Which I've not yet to reach, to be fair.
And then there's going to be a real, well, are we doing this or not?
Yeah.
Moment.
And he's going to call me a hose teaser.
You are a hoe teaser.
Hose teaser.
I knew that. What's a hose teaser? Oh, a hoe teasing the hose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a
You
second.
clearly haven't seen
I was
Grown
thinking
Ups, have you?
full on.
With Adam Sandler.
Not for a long time.
There's
I quite like Grown Ups though.
There's a lifeguard at the water park they go to, and he's like, looks like an Adonis, you know, head to toe, chiseled, and he has the most squeaky voice. He was from Canada, and he called them hose teasers.
But that's the thing, when you said hose teasers, I was like, is this a Canadian thing? But no, not that kind of hose.
No,
Eh?
as in your penis.
Your own
hose.
kind of hosey. Oh, Jose's a different thing.
That's
Jose's got his own
I
hose.
don't know what accent that was, but it wasn't Canadian.
It was Jose's.
Yeah, was that Mexican? Was it?
It was Jose's. It was
Okay.
Jose's hose.
Fair enough.
I've said hose too many times.
Yeah, but then that's how you describe women. So
Damn right, she was a hoe.
for
For show.
She was hurting for squirting.
She
That's
was,
what I
you know,
heard.
you need to keep your woman in line. I'm saying.
Bitches be crazy.
Bitches do be crazy.
They do.
I get you on that.
I have it on all back of all my shirts.
I got your back, Jack.
Yeah.
It's weird that you got it embroidered on even that nice coat you had.
No, I think
Bitches be
I think
crazy.
it was fitting.
Got to get that message out.
The amount of people that fist bump me as I walked down the street.
Yeah. Was that at the Andrew Tate convention?
It was one of them.
It was there.
Jordan Peterson.
Jordan
was there.
Peterson, guest speaker.
Yeah.
Nice full circle. We talk about. Oh no, it was before the pod. We just
Yeah,
mentioned
off
Jordan
air
Peterson.
with my sister.
I'm so bad at that, about remembering what we've said on the pod and what
Yeah.
we said before the pod.
I've said to Jake what we should probably do is when he arrives, we normally have like a 5-10 minute conversation before the mic goes on. I should just start recording as soon as that happens, and then the footage won't start until
We start.
we start, and then it will just continue. We'll have to try that at some point.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah, it's just the editing side of things.
Yeah.
As long as I start recording, I do some sort of symbol so I know.
I can get you a symbol. I know a guy. I can get you an actual symbol.
Okay, we'll look into it. My people will contact your people.
Is this one of those we'll actually look into it, or is this one of the things when I say I'll look into it and then immediately forget about it?
Most likely that.
Like the
one.
my thing,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
my look into it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look into that.
Yeah, we'll get on that.
We'll
Just
get-
like
we'll
the
get
new
on that.
theme tune,
Oh,
which
no.
is still in
Do you know
works.
what the funny thing is? As I was doing this, having this conversation today, because I did like some TikTok videos at work.
Yeah,
For me, and it is a massive part of, like, I don't want to keep going on like the ADHD, but it's a massive part of the ADHD.
Yeah.
It's such when something's creative and it's in its conception,
yeah,
and I'm like, yes, and we can do this and we can do that. My enthusiasm is through the roof.
yeah,
As soon as I've got to start doing things
Delivering
for it,
it.
and it becomes work,
yeah.
it goes straight out the fucking window, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I just don't
I
have
ain't
the
got time for
motivation.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not. I'm gonna
No, I
sit
get
and
that.
stare at the ceiling because I can't bring myself to start that task.
Yeah,
Because I said I was gonna help a guy at work, I was like, he saw my Barbie post, and he was like, "Oh, I wish I could go for that kind of thing." And I was like, "Mate, trust me, you'll love it. It's brilliant. I got like the most attention." So then we kind of like, it was happening because he's going on the thing. And I was like, I'm workshopping it, and I workshopped this like Alice in Wonderland thing. I was like, because you know where there was like a dress in the shop, like a blue thing, and there was like some kids cat ears costume thing. And I was like, get a Mad Hatter's hat, glue the cat ears on. I'm like, you got the dress, you do like a sash for the queen. And I was like, you just basically go as like an amalgamation of all the characters in Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, it'll be amazing. I was like, trust me, go stockings, add a little bit of flirt, a little bit of sex. I was like, honestly, like you'll get touched up. I was like, I'm not, from personal experience, the sexier you are, the more you'll get touched up.
You don't even have to be sexy.
And I was so on board, and I was like there, and I ordered 2 or 3 things to help him with the thing, and I was like, mate, this is happening. And then about a week ago, it was time to like actually put it all together, and I was like, I just have no motivation to do this, and I just waited for him to say, "Have you got any further on?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, I'm on it."
Yeah,
knowing full well that I'm not on it, because when it was fun,
you were well up for it.
I was so up for it. Like the cat ears on the hat, I was so happy with, like a Mad Hatter's hat.
Yeah.
I was so happy with it. And then as it got to the point of like, okay, now you've actually got to buy the hat and glue the ears on.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know if I can do that.
No.
I just don't know if that's in me.
Too much effort.
It is too much effort, and it's really worrying.
Ain't nobody got time for
Because
that.
what I am is I'm an ideas man.
Yeah.
I'm not the execution man.
No. I think that's a problem for both of us. We're both the ideas
We're both
man.
the ideas man.
Yeah.
So we'll get on that. New theme.
Yeah.
We'll get on it.
Yeah.
Again, when we were sitting there discussing like how it should be and what kind of style we want, I was really into it. And as soon as it was like, okay, we've kind of settled, let's go and
find someone.
It was like,
that's effort.
That's work now.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the
work.
work.
Where do I even
Yeah,
look?
I don't want to do the work. I just wanted to do the fun bit.
Yeah.
And that's like,
and look, we had fun discussing it.
This is basically like therapy for me.
Yeah.
I'm airing my shit.
That's good. Share your truth, bro.
And if you ever want to air your shit on the pod,
where can they do it?
You air your shit. Where can they do it?
Yeah.
I was talking to you, but
okay.
They can air their shit.
To the people.
No, they can air their shit because they can use us as therapy. They can use us for advice.
Yep.
We still do agony aunts.
Yeah, we'll do another episode soon.
So they can share it. They can air their shit on TikTok.
Yep.
On Instagram.
Yep.
Both at CrossingSwords_podcast.
Boom.
On Twitter at Swords Crossing. You can email us CrossingSwords19@gmail.com. Although I'm starting to crack up because I went to check that the other day and I was like, I haven't been on it in so long that it logged me out. So I'll get to it. It just won't be quick. If it's urgent,
we'll find it.
Don't email me.
Send it to Facebook, probably.
Will you get it on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I'm not on Facebook. So I will get it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which is at Swords Crossing.
That's
and
correct.
on Facebook, we're just Crossing Swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, send it on one of them. Between us, we'll get it.
We'll find it.
Between us, we'll get it.
And thank you. People have been commenting as well, which we appreciate. I've seen some comments on YouTube.
And YouTube, we're on, link to which will be in the description of the episode.
Every episode.
Every episode.
Every single one, without fail.
No.
It's the
motherfucking YouTube link. Snoop Dogg, motherfucker.
There is a Snoop Dogg Funko Pop on the table.
Yeah, boy.
Fresh.
With his little... Has he got a little... No, that's the level reflection.
He's got a pimp stick and a chalice.
I thought he had like a doobie behind his ear. I thought he had a zoot sort of stick in there. That's just a reflection.
There are ones you can get of him banging a zoot, which I want to get.
It's a reflection of the light. I just thought it was...
Yeah. It's you with a zoot in your ear.
I often am.
Yeah. I've heard that about
very, really fan with that one.
It's
Papa J.
416. Everywhere you go.
Oh, Papa J.
Or is it 420?
It's 420.
420.
420. You don't need that extra 4.
No. I'm always early, as you know.
Yes. You're premature on...
Yeah. Like, most people like to start at 420. I'm like, 416 is just about right.
416 is just a much more amenable time. 420 is too close to 5:30. It's just a bit too late in the day. 416
I'm still
is
close to 4 o'clock.
It's just a good time.
Yeah.
To start smoking.
It's the best time. 416, you heard it here first.
I would love if we started a trend, by the way, where people were just smoking at 416.
That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
That'd be incredible.
Just not cigarettes. We despise them.
A weed only.
Weed only.
Weed only.
It's all one love under the bud.
Yep, us and Snoop.
That's what Snoop says.
We're basically the same.
Yeah. Almost as successful. We're getting there.
Yeah, I mean, look, can I afford to smoke as much weed as he does? No, I could not. It would bankrupt me in a week.
If that.
Honestly, how? I mean, I know he's got a lot of money, but I'm
He's
like...
actually got a guy who goes around with him rolling.
Yeah, just rolling. Cause he
can roll
chains
himself. He just doesn't want to.
Oh, he chains him. He ain't got time.
Yeah. No, he's a busy
Too
man.
busy smoking them.
He's busy being Snoop.
If he rolled his own joints, he would never get anything done.
No, he wouldn't even get to smoke them.
No. He would just be rolling them, already
He'd be
rolling the next
smoking and
one.
rolling at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck to him.
Best of luck, Snoop.
Yeah.
Papa J's with you.
Yeah.
And Big Daddy Big's with you.
Always in spirit.
One love under the bud.
Goodbye.